Hello and welcome to round number 7 of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship, here live on Apex Racing TV. We are back in the US, in Texas this time, at the Circuit of the Americas, COTA, and together with me, joining me in a few minutes is gonna be also Joshua Lee, and Marco Barbanera will be working the beautiful cameras as per usual from the production booth. Very exciting race coming up in a few minutes, as the drivers are already turning some laps in qualifying. Championship which is absolutely very open in the top places, as we are looking now at the championship standings that is already taking into account drop weeks, so these are the real points working for the title right now between Kamil Grabowski and Pascal Costa, the two drivers that so far have shown the best consistency and pace throughout this very long season for a championship. Kamil Grabowski leading by less than 30 points, so one race difference between first and second place, and Josh Cam for Porsche Sport in third with over 100 points. So it seems to be a fight between Grabowski and Costa for these last few races of the season, but never say never in racing. Anyone still has a mathematical possibility, is still in the hunt for the title. Looking now at the amateur class, the class is being led by Leon Erger, the German driver from Frozen Speed Full Send Racing, with 313 points. Remember that in this championship, the classes do not score separate points, but they all in one big overall championship, divided then in pro and amateur drivers. Kev Copeland in second place for Evo SR with 293, only 20 points is the gap, so it's gonna be very important to get all the positions as possible in these crucial second races of the night, where we also have the inverted grid. So these are the races where usually the amateur drivers have the chance to score big points, and knowing how difficult it is to get a lot of points, they have to capitalize on that. It's very important. Third place for Michael Fang from Team Vikings Prague. The Swedish driver has been very fast, but unfortunately a bit inconsistent compared to the other two. Jack Knight and Dane Baird for Kairos competition in fourth and fifth are already looking quite far, but as I was saying earlier, it takes only a very good weekend, a very good round to jump up the standings and still be in the hunt for the title. One track that many people do not really like, Circuit of the Americas, especially someone driving on a single screen might not really be happy to drive around here, because we have a lot of very treacherous corners and 90 degrees corners, elevation changes. It's a very complete track, and I think we will see very interesting racing and a lot of passing opportunities, like here at this very important corner. You can either try to make a pass entering under braking, or on this huge back straight where you have a lot of slipstream and then a very important braking area here. Looking at Kamil Grabowski already in pole position after half of our qualifying session, only 6 minutes in. It's a track that definitely gives the chance to drivers to make up positions fairly easy, but it's very easy indeed also to make mistakes. We also have for this round a few drivers that unfortunately will have to not take part in qualifying due to penalties, having 2 or 3 points on their license, and therefore usually having to start from pit lane, but not for this time. Unfortunately, iRacing is having a few issues after the latest implementation of the system. the update they had in the last build. Damien Owen Harris, Salvatore Lernet, Nick Madsen, Nils Langeveld, Peter Wadsworth, Austin Forster, Dennis Meisner, and David Plasman instead at 2. So we'll be forced to start, I guess, from the back in race 1, and in race 2 we will see. I don't think we will be starting from pit lane to avoid any issues, but it's gonna be interesting to see how this will develop. As we are looking now at Michael Fang, our provisional amateur leader, 1.8 of a second behind Grabowski. We're looking at bigger gaps than usual, but also because this is one of the longest track we are visiting in this season, over 2 minutes per lap. So we are looking at about 10 laps for the first race and 14-15 for race 2, and also some interesting qualifying positions. With Kochenek has been very fast last week in Watkins Glen, struggling a little bit. Drivers having issues also with familiarity on this track, but I see someone coming here, jumping in the booth. Joshua, welcome at COTA. Looking forward for this one.
Oh, finally be able to get here into the booth. A few minutes late, but made it before qualifying ended, thank goodness. But I mean, just getting in, looking at the times, familiar faces up front: Grabowski, Costa, Ward, Cam, Christensen, top 5 for pro class. Fang, Maxwell, Weir, some unfamiliar names at the top of the AM class leaderboard right now. Copeland, Fabian Myers sitting there 4th and 5th. So some familiar names fast, but also some familiar names farther down the order. 22nd overall right now, Leon Erger. He needs a good lap. And same thing with Bradley Hulse for Twin Jet Virtual, starting his flying lap. He's going to need a good one as well. So we take a look at Tor Bervin making his way through the final corner.
Yeah, indeed. It's very interesting to see how the drivers cope with this track, because speaking to them after the race last week, Joshua Manny said that they don't even add any lap on this particular racetrack. So it took definitely a lot of practice to get used to it, and also used to the off tracks around here, because in qualifying, obviously, having just an off track might not count your time, as Leon Erger jumps up into P9, as we were saying earlier, 1.1 second from the lead, and is now our amateur leader.
Taking a look now, Andrew Brown, 7th in the GT3 Pro. Sorry, in the Pro category. Man, I'm too used to commentating ARL GT Trophy, but you see him getting loose coming off of the final corner here at Circuit of the Americas. 20 corners around this track, and a lot of them fairly unique as well, from the S's to start the course to this uphill turn number 1. Quick, fast flicks in the final couple of corners in the final sector. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers take to the course. You can see the lockup going into turn number 1 from Andrew Brown. That's going to be something we need to watch all day long, as Brown looks for an improvement on the lap. Doesn't look like he'll have enough time, though. Time going to expire here on qualifying, and we're going to take the grid and go racing for race 1.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be a very interesting race with a lot of drivers trying to come back through the field. Some qualifying effort not being up to the standards we've seen so far this season for some drivers, but it's Kamil Grabowski and Pascal Costa leading from row 1, so our contenders for the overall championship starting up top, followed by Lewis Ward and Josh Kemp in second row, Roger Christiansen and Tor Berven in 5th and 6th lockup, Norwegian row 3. Andrew Brown, Nick Rowland, Leon Erger and Dominic Forster round up the top 10, with Leon Erger being our amateur pole sitter for race 1. Michael Funk in 11th, Mats Kessler in 12th, followed by Hans-Gunnar Hansen, Christopher Kochenek, Lucas Deering, Thomas Grendel, Luke Maxwell, Thomas Weaver, Kev Copeland in 19th place, so having to get a lot of position in race to not lose a grasp of that first place in the championship in the amateur class. Folland in 20th, Meyer, Spalek, Parmley, Madsen, Larnay, Bradley Hurst, Paul Robson, Paul Domen and John Hopkinson in 29th place round up the grid for today's event.
bit of a smaller grid than what we're used to seeing here in the Porsche Cup Championship. Used to seeing upwards of around 50 or 40 drivers, and at least in the 30s. We're at 29 today. Less drivers, but there's still a lot of fast names in this group, and I think we're going to see some of the best racing we've seen all season long, because this track is so entertaining with all the corners on this track, multiple passing zones through braking, a unique turn one, and a final sector that can be make or break when it comes to lap times. But Kamil Grabowski going to lead the field into turn number one. Erger and Fang, top two for the AM category. Grabowski and Costa on the front row for the pro category as we get ready to go green.
These lights are about to come up. You can see now lights are on and the engines are revving, and there we go. We start race one here at Circuit of the America. Good start for Grabowski and Costa. Costa now will have to try the outside, but also Ward looking at the inside is too far though and can't make a move stick. Everything looks clean here also in the midfield. This treacherous corner one can catch you very easily off guard, as we have someone having trouble in the midfield. I think Kochenek and Gunnar Hansen had the trouble and went off the track.
That's Hans-Gunnar Hansen into the wall. He's going to fall down to 27th overall as Grabowski leads the field through the S's for the first time. These cars have to go a little bit slower through here. The normal F1 cars, another one around. Fabian Meyer. Nick Madsen for Mag Performance SRT gets turned around as well. He's got damage to the front end.
Indeed, absolutely beautiful start, but unfortunately we had some contacts in the toboggan, the S's, which are always very, very difficult in the first lap with cold tires, as also the 126 is around at Berven having to rejoin now the track as we look at Christiansen and Cam trying to fight for P4. Everybody
now making their way into one of the harder braking zones of the track, turn 11. Focusing on Roger Christensen. To the inside of him goes Nick Rowland. He's not going to make any moves though, as now the field will make their way into turn number 12, 13, and 14. This car's complex, and you can see just how harsh it is. The 177er Josh Cam goes around.
Yeah, very smart move by Cam, trying to rejoin the track. He backed up a little bit to not rejoin in the racing line and lost not too much time, but so many cars went by. He's all the way back now in 11th place and defending from Grenker.
Cam did not lose that many positions on that wreck, thank goodness. So he's still in the running right now, sitting in 11th for the pro class. Grabowski, fastest time of the race so far, 2:07.864, as everybody completes their first laps of the race. One car around, that's Lucas Deering for T3 Esports. He's going to fall all the way down to about 25th overall as he gets back turned around. Other battles, they make their way into Sector 1 through Turn 2. The 188, Roger Christensen. He's going battling with Nick Rowland. Maybe some contact there, but Rowland grabs the spot, and here comes Andrew Brown now to fight Christensen.
Yeah, Rowland sharing some love to Christiansen and push him just a little bit wide to get the position, as now Christiansen also to defend from the grip TV car of Brown. Oh boy, this could have been much more worse for Christiansen. He managed to save the car and stick to P7, now defending from Michael Fang.
And he's defending Fang, who is the current second place driver in the AM class, so not fighting for any relative positions on track, but the way the points work in this series is based off of overall finish, so he is racing for points right now. Fang behind him wants more points, and if he can get by Christensen, he will. And a close battle up here at the front for first place. Grabowski, Costa, and Ward going battling into turn 13. They're all running so close together. Doesn't look like anybody's willing to make a move just yet. Will we see anybody stepping out for possibly a race 1 victory?
It's going to be very, very interesting. Pace has been very similar from Grabowski and Costa also in qualifiers. We look here at the midfield with the drivers swapping position every corner. It's absolutely incredible scenes, great racing, and let's also keep an eye on this particular position. P13 because Joshua, today it's our reverse grid spot, so whoever finish race 1 in P13 will be our race leader for race 2.
With that inversion being the top 13, that's going to put a lot of the AM class drivers back towards the back. Right now, the only two AM class drivers in that top 13 are Erger and Fang, the top two. Maxwell, Weweer, Volant, Copeland, Hulst, Spalik, all behind and directly behind the current 13th overall place driver of Dominic Forster. So they're going to need to get around him if they want a good starting spot and hopefully some more points going into race number 2 on the day. But here in race 1, things starting to calm down. You can see that top 3 pulling away from the rest of the field and in their own little bubble and their own little battle right now as they work their way through sector 2.
Yeah, this is gonna be very interesting to see how this race develops up front with not many laps today, since the track is very, very long and the lap time is well above 2 minutes. So we will have, I think, 10 laps for this opening race. And the pace being so close, it's gonna take one big opportunity for Costa, probably just down this back straight, which is, in my opinion, the best passing spot on this track.
You can see Lewis Ward through that harsh braking zone of turn 12, trying to get up close to the cars in front, just not able to do it in that braking zone. And Pascal Costa still running behind. We've seen Costa win a lot of individual races and just overall rounds of this championship as we continue here on race number 1 of this round here at Circuit of the Americas. And Lewis Ward for Team 11 also races in the ARL GT Trophy, having a good season over there. As here's the battle for the transfer spot. It's actually a little bit above the transfer spot. This is Dominic Forster battling with, looks to be the 123, the 113 of Thomas Grendel. Forster still sitting in that 13th spot. He's looking for that 12th overall spot away from Thomas Grendel, who we're on board with right now, looking back at the 123. And they're going to make their way into turn 20, the final corner on the racetrack. You can see 2 AM class drivers behind, Maxwell and Weweer, looking for that inverse spot to start at the front row, or up towards the front of race number 2. As we are closing out on halfway done with this race, still a good ways to go, about 13 minutes, and the battle for 12th starting to heat up a little bit more. Here comes Forster to the inside, forces Grendel wide, and he's going to take the spot.
Yeah, and look who's back there. Kev Copeland, 17th, he needs to get into that top 13, Joshua, if he wants to not lose too many points on Leon Erger, because Erger in 6th place in race 1 and in race 2 will be having a lot of chances to score big points. If Copeland doesn't get that P13 at least, he will be having a tough time, as we see Josh Cam bouncing on the yellow curb and losing a position on Berben.
Side by side goes Cam and Bervin. Bervin with the inside advantage as they head into the corner, but look at the crossover move. Trying is Josh Cam to go to the inside of Tor Bervin. Just did not work, and now he's going to be in that draft. This is one of the DRS zones for the F1 cars when they come here to Circuit of the Americas. The back straightaway of sorts out of turn 11 going into turn 12. One harsh braking zone and one harsh corner to another. And Cam not able to get back up to the bumper of Tor Bervin. Look at another move going through turn number 12. That's Maxwell and Weweer going battling. Same thing further back. Larnay battling with the 268 of Kev Copeland. He wants by, and Copeland's gonna get it up to 17th overall.
Yeah, Copeland and Larnay fighting for position for almost an entire lap now. Larnay trying to bounce back from another penalty he got from previous races, so he had to start all the way from the rear of the field as other drivers with him, trying to get into that P13 spot, which would totally change the complexity of his race for race 2.
Back up to the battle for the lead. Grabowski has been holding it for Evolve Racing the entire race so far. Top 3 all unchanged from where they started. Grabowski, Costa, and Ward keeping those top 3 spots under lock. But you can see Nick Rowland up 4 spots from where he originally started back in 8th overall. Josh Cam losing 7 positions after that early spin he had. But Bradley Hulse up 10 positions from 26th. A great day so far for him. But Hopkinson, Madsen, Kochenek, and Hansen sitting in the bottom 4 spots from 26 down to 29th. They're not having the best days so far. Looking for some better ones. And a huge dive to the inside. Goes Pascal Costa, and here they go. Now 3 wide for the lead down the straightaway. Kamil Grabowski gonna keep the spot, but Costa went for it, and here comes Lewis Ward right in the draft of Grabowski looking for the spot. They're side by side for the lead. Ward trying to make it 3 wide as they dive into turn 12.
A bit of blocking from Costa. He didn't definitely want to be 3 wide entering this corner. It's very difficult to slide through that apex side by side. I can't even imagine 3 wide, but they make it work, and Grabowski manages to still be our race leader with that big move tried by Costa at the hairpin. He entered a bit with too much speed and couldn't make the pass work on exit, but look how close they are. This could give also Roland the chance to close the gap a little bit, but we are already halfway through. That is still 3 seconds. It's gonna be very really hard for Nick Roland to catch back.
Back onto the front straight away, on board with Lewis Ward for Team 11. Working in that slipstream for the lead, and they've gapped any cars behind them about a solid 2.5 seconds back to anybody further back, and that's Nick Rowland in 4th, even further back to Andrew Brown, further back for Grit TV. Working lap 6 through the first couple of corners on the racetrack, and these are some of the toughest corners, especially in these Porsches, because a lot of drivers are used to either open wheel cars or racing in Formula 1 cars here in the F1 2020 game, or on iRacing as well with the McLaren MP430s. As we take a look at Josh Cam getting by Michael Fang to hop up into 9th overall, and some more battles happening back here in turn 1. But my point there being, they're used to running faster cars through those S's. Now they got to run much slower cars in these Porsches. Need to be a lot more patient.
Let's see the replay here with Thor Berber in the 126. Some contact with the 268 of Kev Copeland. He's around, but he gets back pointing the right way. Unfortunately for Thor Berber, not a very good race 1 here at COTA tonight, but he will have a chance to fight back towards the end of this race 1 and race 2 for sure, as we still are looking at the rear of Grabowski's car, with Costa looking always very very dangerous in these braking zones, but he never really had the chance to make it work, apart from that single pass we see in last lap, Joshua, but he went in too deep, couldn't slow the car much down.
Out for the lead, remaining mainly the same. Kamil Grabowski, Pascal Costa, Lewis Ward, Nick Rowland, Andrew Brown. Top 5 currently for your pro class here in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. Top 5 in the AM category is Leon Erger, Michael Fang, Thomas Willier, Luke Maxwell, and Bradley Hulse. And there you can see the entire 13 cars currently racing here in the AM class today. Here in the round from the Circuit of the Americas, and only car off track for the AM class is John Hopkinson, but overall Kochenek and Hans-Gunnar Hansen are also off track from earlier incidents, so they're getting damage repaired in the pit lane as we work around the Circuit of the Americas for round number 7. 2 rounds will end out the season at Road America and Virginia, so time running out for the points championships, and they're starting to heat up, Alessandro, as not that many points separate Costa and Grabowski, so Pascal Costa needs any amount of points he can, and passing Grabowski is going to mean at least 2 or more points over Grabowski at the end of the day that he is going to desperately need.
Absolutely, that's going to be really, really key, but I think especially with the reverse grid, the key is going to be race 2, having a good race 1 and having a clean and consistent race 2 is key. As we look now at Costa looking to make a move around the outside, Grabowski still have the preferred line on the inside, but Costa will have the preferred inside lane in this right-hander, and still side by side with Grabowski now defending still from the 167, and nothing to do for Costa, Josh. He's still stuck behind him. He has had very good chances, but unfortunately he just needs a little bit of speed that he's lacking to go through.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of drivers in this series, and just the challenge for a lot of drivers is that they can have the speed to get up to the car, but these Porsches are so difficult to pass because majority of the time they're really only one lane cars. You can only really run one lane fast, so it becomes difficult to get by because you need to put the car in an uncomfortable position to make that pass happen. And drivers right now here in race number 1, doesn't seem like they have that figured out exactly just yet, but some drivers are starting to figure that out. Some drivers are cutting their way through the field, but Pascal Costa not exactly comfortable yet enough to make that pass for the lead. He's going to need a great opportunity to be able to do that. And we take a look at another battle. Kessler and Cam going battling for 8th overall.
I must say that I'm not the biggest fan of this layout. This track is, in my opinion, not designed for GT cars, but some corners you can really have a chance to make some passes work. But for example, coming to this section or where Costa tried to make a pass last lap, there you have such a continuous change of directions that if you are on the outside, next time you are on the inside, then you go back to the outside, it's very difficult to make a pass work. As now Cam dives on the inside of Kessler, takes all the runoff area to try to make the pass stick, but he went in a bit too over optimistic and deep. Cam will now have to defend also from Michael Fang, who had a very good exit.
Taking a look at Andrew Brown, currently running 5th overall, and here's the battle closer up the field, and look at Leon Erger up in front of these guys in 7th overall. This is Michael Fang we're taking a look at, and the 117 goes right on by Josh Cam on the 177, but Cam's not done. Here he goes to the outside. He's going to cut to the inside. Contact is made with Michael Fang, but he gets by not for long. Cam gets loose on the outside, loses the spot once again.
A great race between these guys. Amazing racing for race 1 as we are starting lap 9 for these guys. So 2 more laps. We will have now a replay from this pass. Josh Cam looking at the inside here, but now the corner will be switching to the left, double left corner. A bit of argy-bargy, Cam a bit also loose on exit. It's very difficult to put all the power down. And indeed, Michael Fang manages to defend that 9th position, which is very important because, as I was saying earlier, Joshua, the gap between Erger and Fang is not very big, considering we have 5 races after this. If Leon Erger has a bad race coming up, the championship hopes for Fang are still pretty much open.
Top 3 still unchanged, and I'm honestly kind of surprised. Less than 2 minutes left here in race number 1. Looks like they'll be taking the white flag this time by, but I'm kind of surprised that nobody up in this top 3, even Lewis Ward getting by Pascal Costa for 2nd. It's been unchanged, and it's not without trying. They've tried to make passes. It just has not been an easy thing to do. And you can see Grabowski defending that inside line, forcing Costa to the outside, and look at Ward fighting his way past Pascal Costa. He's going to hop into 2nd place now. So that's the first change we've really seen in position of this top 3. And Costa fell back after that move in turn 12. And look who's there now. Nick Rowland is caught back up. It's a 4-horse fight now for the race 1 victory. Roland with more work to do and not a lot of time to do it, but still it's Grabowski and Ward top two as they make their way through turn 19.
Indeed, Ward right now is actually Kamil Grabowski best friend. As we have someone around, it's Kessler. At this treacherous corner, we've seen Cam having issues last time by. This time is Kessler losing the car. We will catch a replay maybe later, as we are now in the last lap of the race. Brown, Christiansen and Erger fighting for 5th place, so be careful because Leon Erger could be actually getting a top 5 of this race.
Andrew Brown has Roger Christensen, Leon Erger behind him. Here they go, down on a 1. Erger with some contact to Christensen. They have played a little bit of game of bumper cars going through turn 1 there. Andrew Brown, no damage to him. One car around, that's Kev Copeland, who's into the grass with him. I should say into the concrete that's over there. Christoph Roland was in it with him, so wonder what happened between those two, sent them both into the off track. But look at Kamil Grabowski still leading in the 195 as they head back onto the back straightaway through turn 11. Is Ward gonna go for a move? He went for a move, same corner here, turn number 12 on Pascal Costa, 1 lap ago. Is he gonna be close enough to make a move on Grabowski? He's about 4/10 back as they make their way down the back straightaway for the final time in race 1.
He's too far to make an attempt here, but he can still have a try later in the last sector. Right now is Grabowski best friend, giving him a few extra points on Costa, but the race is over when they cross the start finish line, so there are still not really passing opportunities, but if he wants to pass, he can still try to make it happen. Still looking not close enough to attempt a late dive in the last corner. Grabowski looks like will be our race 1 winner, extending his championship lead slightly on Pascal Costa. Last corner for our race leader, and Kamil Grabowski celebrating will be our race 1 winner here at COTA in front of Lewis Ward with a great race and Pascal Costa in third. And P7, we are looking now at Leon Erger extending also for his amateur class championship the lead on Kev Copeland, having a rough day, currently in 11th place with this nice pack of drivers all very close with each other. But we also have a look at Kessler, 13th place right now, just crossed the start finish line, and he will be our pole sitter for race 2.
Great job from Kessler to qualify on the pole for race 2, and 2 cars get loose. That was Fabian Meyer and Lucas Deering both getting loose coming off of turn 20, the final corner. But what I wanted to mention was Grabowski and Erger with 2 more class wins here, and we're only halfway through the round, just finishing race number 1. We have a 30-minute race 2 coming up after the commercial break and a 5-minute warm-up, but they're extending their leads up at the top. Right now, they're the 2 championship favorites with only two rounds left, 5 total races to go. I don't think anybody's going to be able to catch them for the championship, Alessandro. I think the championship favorites and the championship winners in the future are already fairly cut and dry.
Indeed. Absolutely. They are looking very strong, but never say never. 5 more races, a lot of points, and also drop weeks to be considered. So it's still pretty much open for the first 2 or 3 drivers in the standing in each class.
And going into race number 2, I'm expecting a lot of the same races, a lot of the same people, but with that inverse of the top 13, it's going to be incredibly interesting to see who is going to get further up the field faster, because now we have those 3, Grabowski, Ward, and Costa starting way in the back, 13th, 12th, and 11th respectively. It's going to be tough for them to make their way up through the field, and how quickly are they going to be able to make their way up through the field to rival for that race 2 win, and will they stay together in that 3-car pack like we saw in race 1?
It's going to be key to see how they will be getting that start. We've seen drivers having trouble also last week in Watkins Glen. Shorter grid tonight, shorter inverse. might be easier for them to go through the slower cars, but that's the beauty of having a reverse grid, at least for a certain amount of drivers. It will give us a very nice unpredictability for race 2.
And race 2 being unpredictable is definitely a good thing that you mentioned, because usually whatever happens in race 1 kind of looks the same in race 2, and it's going to be interesting to see. But we're going to take a really quick break here on Apex Racing TV. Don't go anywhere. Race 2 coming up right after the break.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome back, race fans, for race number 2 from the Circuit of the Americas for the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. I'm Alessandro Laidon, and joining me is Joshua Lee and Marco Barbanera in the production booth. Just a few seconds left for the drivers in their warm-up, as we have a chance to go through the results of race 1, with Kamil Grabowski being our race winner, extending the gap on Pascal Costa, 3rd place here for the championship standings. Lewis Ward 2nd from Team 11, 4th place Nick Rowland, Andrew Brown in 5th, Roger Christiansen 6th, 7th place, but also our amateur driver leader is Leon Erger, followed by Josh Cam, Michael Fang, and Dominic Forster in 10th, Grendel Vivo, Kessler, Maxwell, Bradley Hulse in 15th, Salvatore Larnay in 16th, Spalek, Thor Berven, Christoph Folland in 19th, Coev Copeland, Dan Parmley, Fabian Mayer, Lucas Deering, Paul Dome, Nick Madsen recovering from a crash, Hans Gunnar Hansen, Paul Robson, and Hopkinson round up the standings with Kochanek in 29th place out in the opening lap. But here are instead the grid of race 2, with Max Kessler pole sitter after finishing P13, we were in 2nd place, Grendel, Forster, Fang in the top 5, Josh Cam in 6th, Leon Erger in 7th, Christiansen, Brown and Rowland round up the top 10, Pascal Costa, Lewis Ward in row 6 for 11th and 12th place, followed by Kamil Grabowski in 13th, Luke Maxwell in 14th, Badri Hulse, Salvatore Laney, Spalek, Thor Berven, Folland, Copeland, Parney, Mayer, and Deering in 23rd, Domen, Madsen, Hansen, Robson, Hopkinson and Kochanek in 29th. So pretty much the same positions are where they finished after P13 in race 1, as the grid today has been reversed only for the top 13 drivers.
And during this race number 2, I'm watching Thomas Willier starting outside of the front row. I'm watching Michael Fang, Leon Erger starting 5th and 7th. And the lights go out. We're underway. Race 2 from the Circuit of the Americas. Max Kessler going to lead the field into turn number 1. Already Thomas Grendel going through the middle, looking for that spot on the 212. He's going to grab it, but going wide is Max Kessler. Now to the lead goes Thomas Grendel in the 113 through turn 2. Fang gonna go into second now. Willier in third, in fourth, second in the AM class. Josh Cam now up into the top 5 overall.
Plenty of smoke in turn 1, but nobody was harmed. Still getting used to it. Every time I see smoke I get scared, but here we have another great battle with Cam and Weir for 4th place. Cam going up 1 place on Weir in that SS. Very difficult to make a pass work there, but if you want to make up spot, now is the time, because we've seen in race 1 how difficult it is to make even a few positions.
Everybody going out of the corner, 3 wide, there's the contact. That's the 222 around. That's Leon Erger in the 222. He's dropping way down the overall order now, all the way down to 26th. Not what Erger needed. Dominic Forster also involved. There's Erger with rear end damage as well.
I think that was Nick Roland clipping Erger at the hairpin, as Kessler and Grendel are still fighting for P1, with Kessler around the outside now trying to defend, but Grendel now is our race leader with a very good pass. For how much will he be our race leader, I don't know, because Josh Cam in 3rd place is looking very, very fast, has been fast also in qualifying. As Grendel makes a mistake and goes very wide, but he manages still to hold on P1, sorry.
On board now, Max Kessler for Impulse Racing as he is battling the leader, Thomas Grendel up ahead in the 113. Finishing out lap number 1 to the inside. Look at Josh Cam for Porsche Sport. Now going to go side by side with Kessler. Down the front straightaway, wheel to wheel, door to door as they go up the hill, back into turn 1. Michael Fang watching from the wings in 4th place, looking for a spot. Cam's going to hop the rumble strip, grab 2nd place, but he's loose, making the way into turn 2. He's going to keep 2nd place, put Kessler to 3rd, but they're all chasing down Thomas Grendel as they go back into the S's.
A great move by Cam, definitely not leaving any space to Kessler entering turn 1. Side the door multiple times. They are really going hard for it, and Cam knows that if he wants the win, this is probably one of the biggest chances he will have in the entire championship, as Costa is still in 7th place, Grabowski in 9th, and Roland made a big mistake earlier on. So he is the one that he can really capitalize on the reverse grid today.
So Cam still keeping 2nd place. This is the battle further back, almost a little bit of contact between the 212, and there's Pascal Costa in the 167. Kamil Grabowski now behind the 2 other cars that he was battling in race 1. You can see up ahead of him. That's Costa and Ward on the inside trying to cut their way through the field. They're going to go 2 wide into turn 12. Don't know if this is the best decision, but it's going to work out as they're trying to get by now Andrew Brown in the 15, who sits in 4th.
Yeah, very difficult. Oh, we have a crash. Grabowski's around. Got clipped by someone. Ooh, boy, that region was really close with plenty of cars coming. We clips also Meyer for 16th place. Grabowski definitely not looking happy after what just happened. It could have been worse. He's still 16th place. Points is very important. I think he decided to call it a day because he just disappeared. He's back, thankfully. It was a very weird situation. Thankfully, Grabowski is doing alright, as Nick Roland with a lot of front-end damage has to come back on the top.
seems like now that Grabowski went around and Leon Urker we saw go around in turn 11 on the first lap, this race is not exactly going well for the two race winners of race number 1 in both classes. Now it's Josh Cam up in front for overall and the pro category, but over in the AM category, Michael Fang leads the way in 4th, with Thomas Willier in 2nd in that class, down in 8th overall. And you can see Kev Copeland, 10th overall. He sits in 3rd for the AM class. So some drivers who are not having the best days in race 1 are having some great days right now here in race 2. We're only 5 minutes down, still 25 minutes left of racing, about 5 extra laps from the first race. These guys need to keep buying their time and make those smart moves. There's a chance for a lot of great points on the line.
Too much master.
Unexpected drivers, and around goes Grendel.
Too much master for Grendel. He tried to have a very good exit to get the P1 back from Josh Cam, but in the end he only went losing the rear of his car and conceding a lot of positions, as now we are looking at Salvatore Larnè trying to defend from Christiansen, 3 wide with Grabowski looking to get 2 positions in just 1 corner. He might still get inside. Salvatore Larnè with damage. He's looking a bit in a tough situation right now, not having a great pace, but Grabowski trying to bounce back, get as many positions as possible. Damage limitation for race 2 for him.
Up the inside, a great move from the 112 of Lucas Deering on Martin Spolak. He dove that car going into turn 15, and he's going to have the spot, but looking to go around the outside is Martin Spolak. Maybe a little bit of contact. The 296 got a little loose, and you can see the angry headlight flash. He's not happy with that one as they head into turn 19. Going to grab 18th overall is Lucas Deering. Now 2 T3 Esports drivers running 17th and 18th. Fabian Meyer and Lucas Deering. More battles going into turn 1. Look at Pascal Costa up the inside of Fang.
Yeah, great pass. Actually, we have around. Brown is around. Oh, careful. That's definitely not a very good spot because drivers can see Brown only once they got up the hill, but thankfully everyone is able to avoid him. Brown back on track in 8th place, as I think we have another issue. We switch to the replay. Larnè and Madsen, I think, had issues, as Madsen I think is quite frustrated by his action and decides to stop the car. Let's see here the replay. Right when we were switching to the replay, we have this contact.
Man, oh, and odd. Somebody got contact in the rear there. I'm not sure who, but it was Larney and Madsen, the two that got into each other. And you can see that angry hit from Madsen. He was definitely probably not happy with the 127 there. Who was going by and just got swiped with damage? That might have been Paul Doman in the 299 for Lesson Racing. Not sure though. There's the angry wall hit from Madsen. Definitely not happy.
Yeah, I think he was aiming for Salvatore Larnè maybe there, but Larnè teleported to pit road just in time. But this is why you should avoid the penalties, because starting from the back, it's only bringing you even more tension, and it's very difficult to make passes in this Porsche Cup car. So avoiding penalties, having clean races usually pays off better than being aggressive. But we always want to get to the position as soon as possible. It's part of being competitive, and racing is sometimes good, sometimes it's bad.
Roger Christensen up in front. He's currently sitting in 11th, and you're on board with him right now. He's chasing down Bradley Holst for the 10th spot overall. So this is the battle for that top 10. You can see Holst running about 2/10 faster last time by than Christensen. Heading into turn 1, uphill, blind apex here in turn 1. Gets the power down, going downhill. A very difficult corner to get out of because you get that power down when you're going downhill. Just makes the tires want to spin. So not the best place to get the power down. If you can do it in a great way, you can pick up massive amounts of speed. And Grendel tried theirs. We're on board with Thomas Grendel now in the 113 and 13th. He has Kev Copeland up in front of him in 12th.
Issues for Gunnar Hansen dropping down the order, as also Nick Rowland sets the fastest lap of the race after getting the spare car out. Still looking at Kev Copeland right in front of Grendel. This very difficult corner, you don't really have a lot of reference points, especially if you are on single screen. It's very difficult to hit the apex if you are running with a very limited field of view. Let's see if Grendel can get side by side with Copeland, at least take the inside. Looks like he has the favored line. It's the curve on the inside, but he can't carry enough speed. That's the problem when you have to give space to someone on the outside in that corner.
Grendel still running right behind the Evo SR driver of Kev Copeland. Still up at the front though, it's Josh Cam, and he's doing a great job of leading this race for Porsche Sport. And you can see the previous lap times, a 2:09, 2:07 for Max Kessler as he's trying to hold off Pascal Costa behind, but Costa so much faster, 8.5 tenths on the last time by. We'll see the laps as they come across the line, 2:09.01 last time by for Max Kessler, and Pascal Costa 2:08.56, so he's breathing down his neck right now. Kamil Grabowski running at 2:08.563, fastest lap of the race so far. He wants back up to the front. He's trying to get up there quick as he sits in 8th.
I think we might have a multi-21 coming soon, Josh, here, because Impulse Racing teammates, Max Kessler in second and Pascal Costa in third. We might see a switch of positions happening very soon to give Costa the chance to run a calm down. It's only 1.4 seconds, but we've seen how much it takes to make a pass happen on someone who has pretty much the same pace so far.
And you can see just the last couple of laps, Costa has been getting so much faster. Now we're comparing him to Josh Cam, and you can see how much faster he is than Josh Cam as well. 2:09.053 last time by for Josh Cam, a 2:08.56 for Pascal Costa. You can see he's running down in the 2:08s, where a lot of drivers have not been at all today. Josh Cam has gotten in the 2:08s. A 2:08.83 is his fastest lap time, but he's not running them consistent enough. There's the multi-21 you were talking about. Costa right on by for second, Kessler to third.
That's definitely what you need to do in this situation, especially with such a difficult race 2 for Grabowski. The point gap being around 35-40 points. Every point counts for Costa, and having the chance now to also have a teammate defending him, because Ward has been very fast indeed. He got a very fast lap time last time. He will have to go by his teammate for third place and lose eventually some more time.
I would like to point out in the broadcast chat room we did get a never from Impulse Racing on that multi-21 call, but Costa now by Kessler. I think it's safe to say somebody was getting lied to, and I think it might have been us.
Yeah, or they were doing their best Mercedes impression of old days when Coulthard used to have the engine problems and piles of smoke coming from his Mercedes many years ago. And reporter went asking them, "Oh, do you think the car is okay?" And they always said, "Oh, we are comfortable with the car. We know that the car will last the whole GP." One lap later in the box and DNF.
Well, with that multi-21 call, it doesn't look like we'll have any issues in the virtual cooldown room. I think Costa pretty safe with that. He's right on by Kessler. Hopefully he's fine with the call. If we get an interview with Kessler after the race, we'll obviously bring that up. But you can see Costa now trying to catch up to Cam, and Lewis Ward punching his ticket into the podium now. He's up to third for Team 11. Both Costa and Ward up 9 positions from where they originally started this race. Both of them having some amazing lap times on the track as Roger Christensen goes right on by Thomas Willier for the 9th spot overall.
We have a car disappearing with Christensen having some front end damage. It might be slower on the straight as we look now also at Berven, going a bit wide, defending from Michael Fang in 6th. But here we look also at Kev Copeland. We haven't really given Copeland much TV time today. He has been very quiet, but it's very important for him to score points in race 2, because look at where Leon Erger is in 17th. He's coming strong, but Copeland needs to get those points back if he wants to have a hunt for the title.
113 goes around the outside, and we up to the battle between Roland and Dan Parmalee. We haven't talked about Parmalee all day long. There's Grendel once again. He got into an incident a little bit earlier on, trying to bounce back as we're halfway done with race 2. He goes right on by Bradley Holst and Luke Maxwell, but Holst gonna dive it back up the inside. He takes the spot back, but not for long. The crossover from the 113, and one car's around this. Luke is steering.
Yeah, also Maxwell almost went around, had a bit of snap oversteer exit in the last corner, but he managed to save the car. As we look now at the gap between Cam and Costa in the last few laps, always coming down slightly. I think we are set for a nice battle. 14 minutes left for race 2, so plenty of time for Costa to make something happen without taking too many risks. But if I were Costa, I would try to do it very quickly, because Luca is already in 3rd place, making up another spot. Ward is in 3rd place now. Let's see. I think it might be a mistake, because he wasn't anywhere near at Kessler.
There's the move from Ward, and Kessler gets loose coming off of turn 1. Just like I talked about, the blind apex up there, and tough to get the power down going downhill. So Kessler goes wide, and right at the inside goes Lewis Ward. A great move, and here's the battle for the lead. Here comes Costa for Impulse Racing. Fighting with Porsche Sport now, and Josh Cam on the 177 heading into turn 15. How is this going to go? Who's going to give the positions? Nobody yet. Cam trying to hold them off, but Pascal Costa is such a tough driver to hold off. He's going to keep on trying as they make their way through the carousel and down into turn 19. How long can Josh Cam hold off Pascal Costa is the real question.
And this is going to be very interesting to see where Costa will find his first attack on Cam. I think he's quite close. If he gets a very good exit here, he could even think of sending the car on the inside here in the turn 1, but it's always a very risky move. You always risk to go very wide if you send it too much. He decides to stay in line, wait for the back straight, which is always much more comfortable with that long straight, coming to then a very hard braking zone.
And Josh Cam just trying to hold him off. It looks like he's doing what Grabowski would do, or what a normal leader would do, like Costa, Ward, Kessler, running his normal line, which is the line for pretty much everybody on the circuit, and forcing Costa to make a move that he's not comfortable with to make him go around him for the lead. So Cam just looking like he's running his normal race, running his normal lap times, not really changing anything, making Costa change something to try and get around him for the lead.
Look how close he is though now with the slipstream. Costa will be able to be already side by side. Cam decides to defend the inside. Costa though manages to clear him essentially before even the braking zone, and Josh Cam has nowhere to go but to settle down in 2nd place. Great pass by Costa. That was absolutely textbook job. As a Cam, it looks like he's also having some trouble putting the power down. Look at this car, how twitchy he has become over the long run on the rear.
And we have the 2 team YouTube accounts in the chat room right now of our live stream over on YouTube. So they're battling in the chat room as well. No harsh words being said just yet, but I would not be surprised if the battle continues that we're going to see maybe some harsher words as team social medias usually do. We're on board with Lewis Ward, who now has his eyes set on Cam up in front, and Costa looking to check out from the field, but he hasn't checked out just yet. Still about 7/10 and dropping now between him and Josh Cam into the braking zone. Cam still has an opportunity if a mistake is made from Pascal Costa, but mistakes are not something Costa usually makes, so he's going to be relying on something that may or may not happen. But 7 minutes left in race 2, still plenty of time for Pascal Costa to make a mistake on the racetrack as Michael Fang leads the AM class right now. The 212 of Thomas Wewier in second. Kev Copeland, Bradley Holst, Luke Maxwell rounds out the top 5 in the AM class as your leader, Fang, tries to hold off Andrew Brown for 7th overall on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's interesting to point out also some of the drivers that are doing a recovery drive in race 2, like Traboski is already all the way up in 6th, Leonerger in 15th, Nick Rowland, after taking out the spare car for race 2, after having an incident in the opening lap, is already up into 11th place and is running super very fast lap time. So a really good drive from him. It's really unfortunate that he ended up making a mistake that cost him the race.
Oh my, a huge dive up the inside. Take a look at that from Forster. Martin Spalik was in the middle, and Nick Rowland looked to try to go to the outside, decided against it to not go 3 wide through turn 11. But now they're in a 3-car train. Who's going to break first? Who's going to make the move? To the inside goes the 296. He's going to go all the way to the paint. To the outside goes Nick Rowland. Looking 3 wide into turn 12. A huge lockup from Rowland. He goes wide.
That was a scary move, and thankfully nobody was harmed. But Rowland has to consider himself lucky to not have crashed there, because that green turf outside of the curves usually is like lava. You can't touch him or you're dead.
And you can see this battle still now starting to spread out between Forster, Kochenek, Spalik, Rowland. And Rowland caught back up after that lockup. I do have to say, that 116 is pretty fast on the racetrack. Lewis Ward gets by Josh Cam for second, but there's the gap on the timing tower. 1.1 seconds now. Cam has Costa has checked out. Here's the replay on the pass from Ward on Cam. Making their way through turn 12. Cam gets a little lockup going through turn 12. Gets a little loose or tight, and right on by goes the Team 11 driver of Lewis Ward.
The corner has no reference point. It's very interesting to see how drivers are pushing really hard there as Grabowski makes a pass on Berwin. It was quite easy. I think Berwin just decided not to lose much time and try to get some slipstream here from Grabowski to not even to think about defending from Brown, who is about 3 seconds behind him. But we look now also at Leonerger in 15th, who is doing really well after that spin early on, and is limiting the damage on Copeland.
Side by side, making their way down the back straightaway. Erger inside, Forster outside, Luke Maxwell outside, and there goes Erger right on by. Up to 5th now in the AM class, trying to rally back from his turn 11 lap 1 incident. That sent him around and with some damage on lap number 1. You can still see the damage to that left rear. Doesn't seem to be affecting him much as he continues to race through the field. 14th overall, 5th in the AM class, and he's looking for more.
Showing why he is one of the fastest race drivers in the amateur class. Let's have a replay here with Rowland having to extend his track a little bit and going on this treacherous turf on the outside. It was a quite interesting maneuver, I must say, audacious maneuver, but thankfully it worked out for all of them, Rowland not losing too much time.
Take a look at a replay. Martin Spalek in front of the 116. And it looks like he got loose coming through the corner. Contact with the 116 of Nick Rowland, and around went Spalek in turn 20. And damage to that left rear as well. Same spot as Leon Erger. Here's the onboard of Rowland.
Quite far.
Oh, he entered the pit lane for something. It doesn't look like he got any damage, and there's damage as he enters the pit lane.
That definitely caught him off guard. Too much master entering pit road. I don't think I ever said that, so that's the first time I say someone entered with too much master in pit road. As Costa is still very close to Ward, so I didn't expect Ward to be closing the gap so much in the last lap, almost 4 tenths. So we are set for the last 2 or 3 laps. It's gonna be very, very close, because these guys are definitely gonna go at it.
Back into turn 20 goes Pascal Costa, and you can see Lewis Ward a little bit faster on those last couple of laps. 2:08.59 last time by for Ward, 2:08.95 for Pascal Costa. What's it going to be when they come across the line this time by? Not that much of a difference. Now that time by, Lewis Ward was a little bit slower, but he's not by much, only about 3/100ths of a second, and that could have been one small mistake from Lewis Ward in one corner. So Ward's starting to catch up to Costa, but we're inside 4 minutes left, about 2 laps to go. I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch and get around Pascal Costa. That 167 has been so perfect all day long.
And it's going to be really, really difficult. I think it will take a mistake by Costa to give Ward the chance to make a pass, or at least attempt to make a pass. Never say never. Ward has to keep pushing hard and hope for a mistake, as we look at Salvatore Lanè, who came back with a spare car out after crashing with Nick Madsen. With a slipstream here, will close the gap for Ward, but getting to a driver, Joshua, and then making a pass is a whole different story.
And you can see Ward still catching up, about 6/10ths that gap as they went into turn 12. It's just not closing in enough and at a fast enough rate. And I believe looking at the lap times, about 2 minutes 10 the average lap time, and the 2:08 from the top 2. We're going to see the white flag come out this time by, assuming we are under 28:10 when they come across the line. They might be actually fairly close and get 2 more laps out of this. We'll see. But with Ward so close behind and running out of time, he needs some sort of mistake from Costa. Just diving it up the inside in one corner is not going to make it for Lewis Ward to get that lead. He's going to need to do something. And the white flag is out this time by. 1 more lap around the Circuit of the Americas, and here in race number 2, and Costa looking to close it away, but another great lap time, 3/10ths now faster for Lewis Ward. Can he catch Costa? Still 1 lap to do it, 19 corners left.
It needs to be within 3/10ths at the start of the backstretch to even think about making a move there. One of the last chance for him to try to get the win from Costa's end. You can see also the little bit different lines the driver take in these S's, where it's pretty much one groove. Not much you can do when you are out of the favorite line, but 5/10ths is now the gap, almost 6 from Costa to Ward. So Josh, I think Ward will probably attempt a desperate dive to get the position, but he's too far to make it happen.
Down the back straightaway, there's the DRS signs. Ward looking for that lead. Is he going to have enough? It's 4/10ths now as they make their way into turn 12. Will he make any sort of heroic moves? Not exactly. as they head now through turn 12 into turn 13. He still has this final sector of the track to try something to get around Pascal Costa, but I don't think he's close enough. They make their way into turn 15. The carousel in the final 2 corners are left. Ward's gonna need a miracle if he wants this race to win.
And Costa driving clean, not taking any risk, getting a very good exit speed. He's now having just this double left-hander between him and the race win here for the second event of the day. And Costa indeed manages to keep the car out of trouble and will be our race 2 winner in front of Lewis Ward. Another great race as Grabowski tries to pass Kessler. This is fundamental for the championship, and Kessler manages to save a few points for Costa on Grabowski. Grabowski only 5th with a very good comeback drive, but here is Michael Fang, our amateur winner of race 2 after Leonerga having trouble earlier on, and we are in second place in front of Kevin Copeland and Leonerga himself in 13th.
Across the line, Bradley Hull's going to come home in 6th. Dominic Forster, Christopher Kochenek, 10th and 11th for the pro class. And one car on the wall, that's Thomas Grendel, but past the checkered flag, thank goodness. So he'll keep his 10th overall spot. As the remaining cars come across the line, Martin Spalik for Net Cologne Racing going to come home in 22nd overall. And just the remaining couple of drivers coming by, but great drives from both Costa and Fang to grab those race 2 wins for each of those classes. And a great race overall. Race 1 and race 2, both equally exciting, and a lot of great moves being made. And Ward so close to grabbing that win.
Absolutely, it was a very great race 2 with a lot of passing, a lot of nice groups of drivers swapping positions early on, but that fight for the win till the last corner was absolutely amazing. And it's okay to talk about always Costa and Grabowski because they are the ones that are fighting for the championship, but let's also talk about Lewis Ward being such a consistent driver in these 2 races here at COTA with a very, very impressive double podium.
And a great job by Josh Cam. He got the lead earlier on, the last 2 positions, but that Porsche Sport 177 still came home on the podium. A great run by Josh Cam. Max Kessler in 4th, Camille Grabowski in 5th, Tor Bervin, Andrew Brown, Michael Fang, your winner of the AM class, Roger Christensen and Thomas Grendel, round out your top 10 in the overall results. Thomas Willier in 11th, Kev Copeland in 12th, Leon Erger 13th, Luke Maxwell 14th, Bradley Hulse will round out your top 15. Dominic Forster, Christopher Kochenek come home 16th and 17th, Christoph Volant in 18th, Dan Parmalee 19th, Paul Doman rounds out your top 20, and the remainder of the positions on the racetrack: Martin Spalik, Lucas Deering, Paul Robson, Salvatore Larnay, Nick Rowland, Hans-Gunnar Hansen, Nick Madsen, and John Hopkinson. Unfortunately, only completing about a half of a lap on the first lap and ending up in the pits for the remainder of the day. But great race number 2, and all 29 cars came across the start-finish line. And great battles, great points battles as well. They're going to start to heat up in the next couple of rounds.
Indeed, and the next couple of rounds will be even more interesting with a different racetrack. With Road America coming up, it's going to be another really interesting event. And what about the last race of the season at Virginia? It's a track a lot of drivers probably don't even own because it doesn't really come up a lot in the official iRacing series, but I must say that is such a great flowing track, long straights, some very interesting elevation changes. I think the drivers will love it, and some probably will even discover it because of this championship.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be an interesting run to the finale, obviously, at Richmond, because next week we have Road America, which is equally unique to Circuit of the Americas. A lot more straightaways, a lot more tight corners, fast carousel. It's going to be an incredibly interesting race. And then the finale at Virginia. I don't think a lot of these drivers have really raced anything on Virginia, except for maybe Class D Spec Racer Fords or something like that. So they're going to need to learn the track. They're going to need to be on it in practice and make sure that they can get those fast lap times, because it's going to be the finale. It's going to be the place where all of the championship battles fizzle out. And speaking of championship battles and battles on the racetrack, we have a couple of drivers in the interview waiting area who were involved in some of those battles today. Alessandro, I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, indeed. Let's bring up in the booth our amateur standings leader, Leon Erger, having a very good opening race and an unfortunate collision in race 2, but still managed to get solid points.
Yeah, definitely. Very important for me to get points. Still want to extend that lead. Yeah, race 1 was a breeze. Really didn't expect it to go so well. I gotta be honest, I don't like the track that much, but got quite the rhythm in it, and felt really good. And then for race 2 I had the same plans, but then I just got, I don't know. I mean, you probably saw it on replay. It's I don't really know what I could have done different, but there was definitely no room for someone else to, go in there. So really unfortunate, but still good comeback, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. That turn at the start was very, very difficult. The hairpin coming down the hill with not a lot of reference points. 2 wide, 3 wide is always very hectic in the opening part of the race, but you still managed to come back even stronger, limiting the damage on Kev Copeland, who only finished 1 place ahead of you in race 2. What about the upcoming tracks? Next week we are going to go at Road America, a similar track to Circuit of the Americas, but still a track that will require a lot of practice, because a lot of sweeping fast corners, braking areas. It's gonna be definitely interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't own the track yet, so again I'm gonna start from 0, but I hope I can find my pace like always, and keep at it.
You're doing definitely a very good job, Leon. Anyone you would like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks for my team, Frozen Speed, Full Send Racing, for having me on the team, and Josh for the support, and my beautiful girlfriend for always being there for me. So thank you to all of you guys.
Thank you very much. That was Leon Erger, finished in P13 in race 2, and still after this round our amateur championship leader. I think Josh right now is with our second place driver in the standings in the amateur class, Kev Copeland.
Well, Kev, welcome to the broadcast booth, and another sort of, I want to say rough day for you, but still consistent finishes in both of those races. But you're a good amount of points back from the championship. Are you thinking about that championship? And if so, what do you need to do from your perspective to start working your way back up the points and make a run at Leon Erger? Because there's only 2 rounds now left.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely an outside shout for it now. The gap's getting bigger and bigger. You know, Leon took a load of points off me on that race 1 after I tangled with Salvatore on in the last couple of laps, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I think I'm definitely an outsider for the championship now. Leon's just got the pace on me on the day. I was a bit worried in that race too, because I could see him looming large in my mirrors, but I did manage to hold him off tonight. I mean, overall, I had a better showing than I thought I would here. I thought I would just die in lap 1 or 2, so I managed to survive both races and got solid points in both. So I'm reasonably happy with that.
Even with that championship now kind of looking outside of your reach now heading into the final 2 rounds, or is these final 2 rounds going to be focused on finding that speed maybe for season 3 of the championship, or just trying to get some wins under your belt at Road America in Virginia?
What I'm really looking forward to be honest, is having some more battles with the guys. You know, I've had some really, really tight and good battles with Leon. Although he's quite a bit quicker than me, if I'm in front, I seem to be able to keep him behind, which is good. And I had some great battles tonight. I mean, I was battling Bradley in race 1. His pace tonight was rapid, and I was battling him in race 2 as well. And him and Grendel, we were having a really, really good battle for most of the second half of that race. So I'm just looking forward to those on track, wheel to wheel, door to door moments. I think in race 1, I'm pretty sure I went door to door with somebody for about 4 or 5 corners, which was mad. I don't know how we didn't die.
And now looking forward to the next round at Road America. Is that a track that you're used to? Is that a track that you're fast at? And how confident are you that you can walk away with some more consistent top 3, top 5 finishes in the AM class when it comes to those 2 races?
Road America, yeah, it's a track I really like. I wouldn't say I'm overly quick there, and there's a lot of potential for death. But really looking forward to that one. It should be a great fun in these cars.
Anybody else you would like to thank here on Apex Racing TV?
As usual, my wife Lucy for putting up with me. I've had a new rig this week, so I spent the entire Saturday putting that together. So thanks for putting up with me with that, and thank you for the stream, boys. I'm really looking forward to watching this week.
Well, thank you very much. That's Kev Copeland, second place currently in the AM class championship standings. And now Alessandro is going to stand by with the 6th place finisher in the AM class, 15th overall on the day. It's Bradley Hulse.
Yeah, Bradley has been very consistent today with a double 15th place finish in both races, and also starting from the back in race 1. So congratulations, very good pace today, buddy.
Yeah, cheers. It makes up for having 2 very poor races at Watkins Glen.
Absolutely. Did you practice a lot on this track? Did you own a track before this week? Because we know that plenty of people do not even like to turn a lap around here.
Yeah, it's one of my most favourite tracks on the sim, to be fair. So I've done plenty of laps around it, but just never in this car. So I did about the travel session before the qualifying, and then got a phone call as qualifying started. So I didn't have time to put any laps in, which wasn't ideal.
But still, you did a very good job overcoming all these issues. Talk us through your races. We've seen your car having also a bit of damage coming through the field in the opening laps. Definitely a very interesting experience.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I was expecting there to be a big shunt and a big crash at turn 1, and it was surprisingly clean. So as people kind of went off in their own incidents, I just kind of battled through one at a time and eventually got through to P15 and just kind of held that position until end of race 1. And then race 2, I had a okay start, got up to P10, I think it was, and then I kind of slowly dropped back as the faster guys caught up.
Well, you're definitely having a very good pace, and I'm sure for the next 2 rounds you will be even try to improve on that. Are you looking forward for the last 2 tracks on the calendar, Road America and Virginia?
Not really. I'm not a fan of any of the tracks, so I think I've peaked for this season, but we'll see what we can do for the rest of the season.
Well, definitely it's gonna be interesting. Maybe you will change your mind after racing on the tracks throughout the season. But before we let you go, Bradley, anyone you would like to thank?
So thanks to the guys at Twinjet for supporting me, and thanks to the guys at 1P TV and 1P Motorsport for supporting me as well.
That was Bradley also, double 15th place finish here today at Circuit of the Americas. I think we don't have anyone else for an interview. Joshua, I think we can introduce our fellow viewers also to a new series coming up soon on Apex Racing TV. New, let's say new, but we know it's been going on for a long time here.
Yeah, it's going to be the Apex Racing League F3 series, which is going to be very, very interesting because the F3 cars are always exciting. We have broadcasts of F3 cars all the time here on Apex Racing TV. So watching some of the best go after it in the Formula 3 VRS Super Series for Season 3 is going to be very, very exciting. And I'm looking forward to tuning in.
Sure, the start of the season will be April the 10th. Make sure to check everything on our website. I think that from Circuit of the Americas for round number 7 of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship, it's all from myself, Alessandro Laidon, Joshua Lee, and Marco Barbanera in the production booth. We wish you all a good day, night, wherever you are in the big world.